Executive Director of the Angola Hotel and Tourism Association.
Candice Niles, of course you've met before, and I'm the Director of Tourism for Angola. It's a pleased to have you with us for this visit. And before we continue, I think that we were just joined by this gentleman here who will introduce himself.
I'm Delroy Lake, President of the Angola Hotel and Tourism Association and General Manager of Anakaila Hotel.
I'm Arthur Thompson, overseeing and managing for Tola, Angola, and Nevis.
My name is Cindy. I'm Vice President of Customer Relations and Corporate Culture for Cape Air. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for hospitality.
Hi, my name is Katia Ruiz. I'm the Regional Marketing Manager for the region for Cape Air.
I'm Dan Wolf. I'm going to talk for just 1 minute if I could, but I have the blessing and privilege of being the Chief Executive Officer of Cape Air, but I'm just going to give you a tiny bit of background. I've been flying airplanes for 35 years, and I've been a mechanic for 33 years. I flew the first Cape Air flight, we're in our 24th year now, so I flew the first flight between Provincetown and Boston, Massachusetts. And it's just been people talk about entrepreneur and small business and everything. For me, it's been a dream come true to start with somebody who loves airplanes and has been flying all my life, and to build Cape Air with a great team. Now we have about 1,000 employees. We serve over 40 destinations. We have 73 aircraft, and it's been fun to watch the young pilot struggle with learning how to fly. I know that he's really enjoyed the last 4 days flying around with me sitting next to him, giving him a scorecard on everything he does. So for me, it's been a blessing. We started in a community that's a very tourist-driven community, Provincetown, Massachusetts, which has about 3,000 residents year-round and has over 30,000 residents in the summer, and is very dependent on tourism, as are most of the destinations that we serve. We serve some destinations that are not. We have a hub in St. Louis, Missouri, which is less tourist, but all of our destinations in New England have a huge component of tourism. I myself have been on the Chamber of Commerce for Cape Cod, which is our economic development and tourism group, for 15 years, and I was the chair of that chamber. Represents about 1,000 businesses. So I am very attuned to and sensitive to the issues that involve economic development and tourism, especially as they relate to access to a community, because a lot of the communities that we serve are island destinations or remote destinations and difficult to get to. Cape Air is an employee-owned company. It reflects the heart and the values of the company, and I always find it unfortunate when I go to small communities, and for you this is your community, but relative to the world it still is a small community. When you look at it from the boardroom in Dallas, Texas, it is a very, very small community. And I think it's very unfortunate when decisions made in corporate America have huge impacts on communities like this, where people's livelihood and life depend on good access. Air transportation to and from this island is the lifeblood of the island, and we certainly understand that. One of the reasons that we've stayed independent for all our years, and we are now an employee-owned company. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but one of the reasons you have such passion from the employees here is that we also all of us own the company together, and I think that makes a big difference. But also, unlike a lot of companies that are from the top down, and even though I have the CEO and everything in life, I guess, looks like a pyramid, we are actually a very horizontal company, and as far as our service is concerned, we have always seen it from the community up. So that when Andrew came here first to talk to you about serving Anguilla, I hope he asked a lot of questions, because that's really why we're here, is to learn more as much as we can about the community. One of the things that we celebrate is the geographic, and it has become much more than geographic, it's become cultural, the diversity of our company, which I really celebrate. I mean, we started as 5 white guys from Massachusetts flying 30 miles, and we've become a global company that really, I think, celebrates the diversity and the cultures that we serve as part of our strength, and we love that. And I love getting out and meeting people. One of the reasons I haven't been here sooner, you may have heard that I also serve as a state senator. Yes. And part of when you have a passion for the communities that you work in. And
Republican or Democrat?
I'm going to get to that.
I can care for real.
It's kind of obvious. We're an employee-owned company. I'm dissing corporate America. I think you know where I'm coming from.
So he has to be a Democrat.
Yeah, he has to be. And in fact, I'm a little dissatisfied that the Democratic Party isn't more of a populist party right now. It's one of the reasons I ran. I ran for office for the first time 2 years ago. I'd never run for elected office. But I've been increasingly concerned that our government is not actually working on behalf of healthy communities that translates into healthy families, good standard of living, as I call them, jobs with dignity, livable wages, all of those issues that I think good Democrats, and I'll get into that, stand for. So I ran for office 2 years ago. I'm the chair in the state legislature in Massachusetts of Labor and Workforce Development. So I think they looked at what my strengths were in the business world and are trying to use them to help in statewide and national issues. I've been working a lot the last 6 months, and that's why the election is over last week, and that's why we're here this week. I was working very hard for the president's reelection. Massachusetts, Barack Obama won by like 30 percentage points, but our neighboring state, New Hampshire, was a swing state. So I spent some time up in New Hampshire campaigning for him, and I've actually had the privilege of meeting the president, and I'm going to work hard to get him down here because he should come visit you here. I think Bill Clinton has been here.
And Al Gore.
What's that? And Al Gore's been here? Yeah, Clinton is really a...
But Bill Clinton here was sitting president.
Yeah, but and that's going to take some work. He is a busy guy, but so happy to see the outcome of that election. Also worked very hard for Elizabeth Warren, who is now our U.S. Senator, first woman Senator from Massachusetts, and really proud about that. Part of the reason I think it's important that a business person like me also serve in government, and that's the overlap of us here today, because you're representing the government, which in effect is representing all the people in the community, but as well as your business community here, because we all know that we need a healthy business community, which really is that partnership between the private and the public sector. So I think the depth that I'm hopefully understanding now more the government side as well as the private sector is to really understand how to build healthy partnerships between our company and the communities that we serve. And so we understand that that's a very important role that the government plays. I always say it's an honor and a privilege and a blessing, and it is, to become part of the fabric of the communities that we serve. It goes a lot deeper than simply providing a service and getting paid for it. It really is contributing to the quality of life and your future here. So to the degree that we can do that, we want to be your partner. I always say the smallest thing about our airline is our airplanes. And I understand, I don't know how many of you, have you ever heard of a book called The Little Engine That Could?
Yes.
Okay, so if you've read that book, you sort of get it, right? Our airplanes are the only small thing about our company. We've got a huge heart, we've got a huge soul, and it's a big company now. This year we broke $100 million in revenue, and as I said, we've got 73 airplanes and 1,000 employees. We like to see our growth organic, so for those business people in the room, we've got a very strong balance sheet. We have very little debt. Most of the airplanes that we own and operate, we actually bought. And part of that is the employee ownership. So we're not an investor-owned company that is extracting the wealth. We like to reinvest that wealth back into the company and then back into the communities that we serve. So I'm sure you heard that from Andrew, but we feel very strongly about that commitment. So in the years ahead, Katya was just showing me some of the employment numbers here. We have a lot of opportunity. That's the best way. The challenge to me actually means opportunity. But to really grow this market back and give you a really good feed to and from what really still is the hub of the Caribbean, which is San Juan, and we understand that. The island of Nantucket, which has roughly the same year-round population of Anguilla, about 12,000 people. Last year, between Boston and Nantucket, we flew about 70,000 people. Between Nantucket and Hyannis, we flew about 60,000 people. Between Nantucket and Providence, we flew about 18,000 people. So just the island of Nantucket, this company flew somewhere probably close to 175,000 people. Last year, Anguilla, we flew about 6,000. So our challenge is how do we continue to grow the business. It is a huge, transportation infrastructure, whether we're talking about a city or whether we're talking about a remote island, transportation infrastructure is a huge part of the success and achieving the future vision of the island, and we totally get that. So, on behalf of Cape Air, who is it who said there's a reason we're given two ears and one mouth? So that we can listen more than we talk. So I'm going to continue with the introductions, and then I would really love to hear from you what you think we can do better. I also want to say that aside from the local management here, we're really blessed to have Mr. Thompson overseeing it, and I know that you already have a very strong relationship with Mr. Thompson, and that will, I'm sure, continue. So my wife is not going to get nearly as long an introduction.
Very grateful, and I'm Miley, Dan's wife. I'm really grateful for the chance to see it, and hopefully we'll be bringing him back. Good morning, I'm Linda Markham. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer of Cape Air.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bobby Felipo. I am the Caribbean Regional Director. We're very closely with Mr. Thompson, Katie Yu, who's done this before. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good morning, I'm Aaron Schaap, I'm one of the Caribbean partners.
So it was your luck to be the CEO today.
That's a lot of responsibility for the years.
Captain Sharp actually has been flying us all week. So he caught up with us on Sunday, right? So on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we've been together 5 days. My adopted son. I can't get used to his accent. He's got this British accent. And he's a little bit upset because every island we go to was an ex-colony. So he's a little resentful. Of course, the United States being the first ex-colony.
Well, welcome. It's certainly good to have you here. We know the issues of access have been challenging for us for the past 2 years. We can recall when I left here in 1986 for the university, 85, 86. I had to go to Edison House, Puerto Rico, to get to the United States. We used to fly to St. Thomas and small airplanes. I did for then we would take Delta, American, North Atlantic, and so forth. And then American became up in the late 80s with Delta 8. It was ATR. Well, before they had ATR 17, they had a small ATR. And then they had a little plane called Casa, didn't have some issues after a while. But it was better because we could get to San Juan in a quicker time. And then we could get to the US from there. At the high point, we had American Eagle flying 3 and 4 flights in Angola a day. We could leave Angola 7 o'clock in the morning, do business in Puerto Rico and get back to the night. We could leave Angola midday, get to San Juan, have lunch, have dinner, and be back to Angola. Those were the days when we had multiple flights in, multiple flights out, and we had the economy moving. Of course, many things have happened since then, the global recession. We've had issues with our local economy. But certainly our local economy is an outgrowth of the global economy. We don't have an economy here currently that is based on anything else but tourism. We have tried to diversify in finance, and that has not been around 100%. So we're still working on that. We do have fishes we try to develop. But certainly, as it stands right now, tourism is what we have. And having tourism as a one economy, access is an issue, continuously an issue, not only in terms of planes coming in, but also in terms of getting to other markets, not only in the US, but Europe and so forth. So we have experienced some challenges here. And we are looking at ways to remedy the challenges, not only in terms of having new airlines come in for KP and so forth, with regard to the current infrastructure we have, but we're also looking at how we develop our infrastructure or airport facility, land aviation, so we can look at getting flights here from other markets. So it's really a combination of things we're looking at, and we're certainly appreciative for the job KPI has been doing for the past year, because the surplus will avoid that. You mentioned 6,000 before over the last year. Potentially over 6,000 people will not come because of the access issue. So we are grateful for that. So I guess today we'll sit and we'll discuss how we can better make it over the year, how we can improve our issue, and how we can attract more people to come to you. And we'll speak a little bit about some of the initiatives we're doing in terms of marketing and what our through our new mechanism for this and then we speak to some of the projects that we want to develop here over the next few years and the closing part of our solve. But certainly if we can, there's a chicken and egg situation. What do we do first? Do we do the access issues first, or do we do the product first? And it's certainly quite a bit of product that's here stored right now. And even the product that's open is laying down right now in terms of tourism and rooms, villa rooms. So there are opportunities. And we are glad to hear that we're looking at these challenges and not all the challenges, but opportunities for us to work together. And we certainly relish the idea of creating something that will value both KPR and the government.
If I may add to that, as it relates to chicken and egg situation, I don't know which comes first, but I know the product is there. I don't know if that's a chicken or that's an egg. As it relates to KPR, the airport can certainly accommodate KPR flights. I think our airstrip is long enough to accommodate your planes. The fact that you mentioned that you did about 150 persons from 3 destinations into Nantucket Island, which is a population that is pretty similar to ours, it means that we have scope to develop. I've flown on KPR on several occasions and perused your magazine, your in-flight magazine several times, and I've seen some mention of Anguilla, but the space in which you operate from is one of our major source markets. And I'm more than sure that a number of the persons that fly, 150,000 of those people that utilize your airline, they might not have thought of Anguilla. So one of the challenges that we've had is how do we let people know that Anguilla is here, and if there can be more presence in terms of Anguilla in that in-flight magazine on that end of the world, that might help this end of the world in terms of marketing. As you know, a small island like Anguilla, limited resources, limited budgets for promotion and marketing, and that will help both of us. It will help you to raise your numbers from San Juan, and it will help us to increase our occupancy rates. Because if we can increase our occupancy rates another 20 percentage points, 25 percentage points, we can have full employment, and that will be unprecedented. Now, as it relates to tourism, irrespective of the global economic downturn, people always have to travel. Tourism is the most resilient industry on the planet. From the days of the Vikings, Christopher Columbus, and many others, they've always had a need to travel. And that did not hinder them. They did not know about Anguilla, but they found Anguilla before they found the United States of America. So the fact is that, they will always have a need to travel, and we have to understand that, and we have to promote our destination, promote KPR at the same time, because your success is our success and vice versa. So we have to find ways and means of working close together, and we have certainly done that. We have worked very hard together, even as it relates to your signage and support the airline and promoting the airline. Now there might be some people that may say they don't want to fly on a small plane, but I have felt a lot safer on KPR than I have felt on American Airlines. And this is being recorded, so I'm sure American Airlines will hear that. And KPR has shown more loyalty to Anguilla than American Airlines, other American airline companies. So you have to know where your alliances are, where your friends are. And KPR is certainly a friend to Anguilla, and we hope to see that develop. Now, the fact that you have moved over 150, mostly Americans, to Nantucket Island from these respective destinations mean that the fear of flying in these small planes are just that we have a fear of flying period, and whether if the pilot is going to go, I will go, because the pilot has a family too. and he will only go if he feels that it is safe to go. So I don't think that there's any fear, there should be a fear of whether the size of the plane. You know, that is a non-issue, because we all know that large airlines have touched the sea, large airlines have touched the mountains, large airlines have disappeared as well. So, and it is a fact that it is safer to fly than to drive. So we have to see how we can best promote KPR, best promote Anguilla, and we move ahead in the same direction. We can do that, and we have been doing that. We just need to get at 6,000 people up to 150,000 people, and that should be our goal.
I'd love to. My team here is very often nervous about going on these visits with me because
Good afternoon, everyone.
you didn't think you could sneak in, did you?
I never see the news. I did it. I did it. If you are strangers, welcome back.
Dan Wolf, nice to meet you.
I did it. I did it.
And one, not only is he the CEO of KPR, but he's a Democratic senator. Massachusetts, which is
And I personally was responsible for Barack Obama getting reelected. I'm just going to tell you that, okay? I'm a humble guy. I don't like to take credit for everything. So the team sometimes doesn't like to travel with me because I'm one for making commitments, and then they say, "Oh my God, is he really saying that?" But I think there's a couple of commitments that we should talk about. First of all, I appreciate your discussion about safety, because Cape Air, and again, little airline, but actually does a lot of big things. We fly about 150,000 flights a year. When you do fly 150,000 flights, accidents, safety is no accident, as they say. So we have an incredible safety record. We have a wonderful training department, a great maintenance department, and our safety is second to none. But there is a conception about small airplanes that I think we all have to work to overcome, because we know that's an issue. It's less of an issue in our northern markets. As you said, we're flying 150,000 people to and from Nantucket. Obviously, those people are comfortable in the airplane. Most of those people are frequent flyers, and so we've crossed that obstacle with them. There's trust, and they completely have faith in the product. But we know we have to keep working on that here, and the best way to do that is education. Because if we just let people know what the truth is, I think they're going to get more and more comfortable. One of the things I would offer you is the opportunity to identify some local leaders or whoever you would want, and do some scenic tours around the island in our airplane. So they don't have to feel like they're getting on to fly 170 miles. They can see what it's like in a 402, especially in the gifted hands of Captain Sharp and others of our captains. I wish I could be here to fly them, because that would totally put them at ease. But I think that is a